What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you with yet again another perfume experience and going back to the artisanal theme. Today I have for you none other than Ensar Oud Musc Gardenia, and continuing with their cardboard packaging theme. This is what it arrives in. On the inside, this is what it looks like. I have opted for the 15 ml just because I like variety. And my ideal scenario would have been to get a sample first. But I actually went ahead and got a full bottle. Here we go. For your viewing pleasure, guys. So this is I think they call it the silver or platinum plaque, and yeah, it's very, very nice. The color of the juice is very dark, uh, red ambery with a very dark orange hue, and yeah, so this is the Musc Gardenia Berke edition, okay, and this is 15 ml, and I knew about this for a while, even during the discounts a while back, but I was iffy on pulling the trigger on it because of the amount of florals. uh, Florals are kind of a hit or miss for me, but with this one, luckily it wasn't a miss. It's an absolute hit, you guys, and I will get into that shortly. But just, it's fantastic composition as per usual from this house. Nothing they put out has been bad. I have nothing bad about it to say at all. If anything, I was actually quite impressed and really fascinated by its ability to elicit some of my childhood memories. Whatever they used in there in terms of oils is just so good and so natural that this is definitely one is definitely is going to be one of my favorites. They all are, but this is just slightly unique compared to the other Ensars I have. Even though you still recognize that Ensar Oud DNA in it, it is slightly unique just because of the floral composition. And like I said, typically I'm not a floral kind of a person, but this actually has me really considering looking into other artisanals from Ensar's offerings that are floral based, because this is just to die for. Okay, so before we get started, make sure to grab yourself your favorite snack, your favorite bevy, or as in my case, cafe. And today's coffee beans are from Ecuador. They have these raspberry blackcurrant notes to it. It's very acidic, very delicious, very delectable, and I just love light roast coffees. Okay, so we are gonna go ahead and read the musing off of the Ensar website as well as the notes. I will take you guys through the perfume experience thereafter. Now, I've actually received this today. DHL arrived today, and I sprayed it as soon as it arrived. Generally speaking, I like to make the perfume stay put for about 24 hours. I find that for whatever reason, air shipping affects the scent, so it needs to sort of sit down and stabilize a bit before I can spray it and get the full experience. But it's been, about half a day, and honestly, I just want to make this video about it because I'm super excited and stoked about this one. So I've already sprayed it on my arm, and I'll get into that shortly with you guys. But without further ado, let's get with the musing. So Musc Gardenia, often most of the work that goes into producing the world's most expensive perfume is done by jewelers, not perfumers. But when it comes to perfumes judged on olfactory merit instead of how many carats are in the cap, then you see recurring actors: tuberose, orange blossom, vanilla, and jasmine. You can probably think of one or two more. I'd add Blue Lotus and Frangipani to the list. But who actually dares to use these? Imagine those precious florals, then add South African rosemary and blue cypress. A spread of honey sprinkled with pink peppercorn lacquered with mimosa and, yes, blue lotus and frangipani. To give the fragrance that pollen powdery effect like you're smelling the scent of wildflowers from afar. The later dose especially must be among the most beautiful fragrances a person can ever smell. EO perfumes have been quite counterculture compared to, say, traditional French perfumes. Some may describe them as rugged, tough, even. So it might surprise you to take your first spritz of Musc Gardenia and think it smells lovely. When you visit a perfume boutique, this would be taken from the floral section. But like the natural rendition of those fresh floral tones you always wanted, the difference is in the thickness, the richness, the consistency of the fragrance you're smelling this time. Not just fresh, but wholesome. Not just floral, but butter, creamy, frangy, mimosa, lotus, delicious, and that pollen profile. To further this Berke Khan edition, Musky Insanity, we thought a Sri Lankan oud would mark an exciting departure. So we went full out Walpata for this edition and featured a cord of Sri Lanka Chinook laced with Nang Parbat and a touch of the Sultan's Tiringo oil that was featured on Oud Sultani Tiringo to give the Berke Khan's leathery armor that heavenly blue halo, contrasting between the aquatic mineralness of Walla's woody fruity muskiness and the leathery blueberry purple kinam nuances of the Tiringo grandmother trees. I'm using such insane quality oud and Musc Gardenia to make this as luxurious an oud floral perfume as you could wish for. Another fact that sets the Berke Heritage Edition apart from the previous semi-bespoke editions is that this one features not only a different musk carrier but an added shot of it. You've now got the diffusive wafts of ancient Mongolian musk carrying the Solani-laced white petals, the luscious lotus sweetened by this unique musk's chocolate earthy scent, and every other aromatic in here enhanced in ways nothing else could. So the top notes include honey, rosemary, and pink pepper. The heart notes include orange blossom, jasmine, frangipani, blue cypress, blue lotus, and mimosa. The base notes have Sri Lanka, Nanga Parbat, Tiringo SQ, Kashmiri musk, Sri Lankan sandalwood, and Mongolian musk SQ for the carrier. From using pretty much the entire lineup of those extracts you'd read about in articles about the world's most extravagant perfume ingredients to one so precious none of those authors have ever heard of it, to an ancient carrier no other perfume currently in existence has used, this Berke edition of Musc Gardenia is a muscularious pure perfume. Spray cautiously, a little goes a long way. So you guys, as you heard, so this is a floral based musk oud perfume. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and spray it because I already sprayed it earlier today and it's still here on my skin. Of course, as per all Ensars, this is very oily, it's very dark and resinous, so be careful when you do spray it as it will stain any whites. Now, here's what's very, very interesting about it. I agree with everything that's in that descriptive and musing, in that it is definitely very distinctively floral with touches of fruit. It definitely has a very, not a very, but slightly sweet touch to it without being gourmandish. It most certainly has this pollen powdery effect. It does exist in it, but it's not this baby powder overwhelming sort of a powder, just a slightly polleny powder touch. It smells very interesting. For me, I traveled as a kid a lot in the Mediterranean, including Italy, south of France, even Egypt, Alexandria in particular, and this struck me in terms of memory, as it reminded me off of the jasmine as well as other florals that release their scents in the evening around the Mediterranean. And for a moment, and I swear I hate having to say this because I always think those perfume guys online are joking, but it almost took me there to that location. The scent felt so real to me that it was almost as if I was standing in front of a jasmine bush in Alexandria, or let's say like another floral bush in south of France. It is mind-boggling how the scent of a fresh flower at its peak bloom and scent diffusion is captured in this. It's just so well done. It is brilliantly executed. It is so real, you guys. Your brain, I mean my brain, not necessarily yours, but my brain felt that I was standing in front of an actual live flower. It is such a mental trip with this one, which is why I said like I'm so glad I pulled the trigger on it. It's a blind buy. I didn't even look at reviews. I just went off of the notes and it being something different. But I'm so glad I did it, because even if florals aren't your favorite perfume compositions, which in my case they aren't, although this might change my mind, it just creates such a real experience when it comes to those florals that it's not like anything I've smelled before. I've smelled florals and perfumes. I have some perfumes with florals. This feels like you are smelling the real flower, like it's still alive, and it's your brain is confused, or my brain became confused, because on the one hand I'm smelling a live flower but I can't see it. For a moment there I started searching for it in the physical vicinity, the near physical vicinity of me. It is mind-boggling how well done this is and how well the scent is captured here. Another thing to mention is that the scent does not open right off with the floral. The order of the notes for me was a blast of chocolatey truffle musk in the opening. It is slightly animalic, but it's not an off-putting animalic. It's more of a, okay, there's an animalic in here, and that disappears very quickly, and then you're left with this warm, chocolatey truffle scent. And I mean proper chocolate. I've read it quite a bit in a lot of the other Ensar Oud perfume experiences I've uploaded here, but this had to be the closest to that chocolate truffle scent, and that is a function, to the best of my knowledge, of the Mongolian musk. And I think that the animalic in here might be more of a function of the Kashmiri musk in the base note. But I actually get that first off in the opening, and then shortly after you're getting the florals, which are beautiful, you guys. Now, to be very honest, I can't quite pick them apart from each other, but the one that stands out to me in this whole formulation is the jasmine. The jasmine in here is so beautiful, you guys. And it's not indolic by any stretch of the imagination. It's just such a beautiful jasmine in here. I'm not really sure what kind of a jasmine it is, but it is to die for, okay? So start off with the musk, and you get, I'd say about 10 minutes in, the florals really start to shine. And before I move on to the oud aspect, one thing to keep in mind is that the florals in here mixed with the oud and the musk have also this almost lotiony quality to it, which reminds me a lot of the Ensar Oud Royale, which has oud and I think it was 1978 rose or 1987, can't quite remember, and the carrier with also Mongolian musk. If my memory serves correct me, don't quote me on that. But It doesn't smell like it, but it has this lotiony scent quality to it that reminds me a lot of the Oud Royale. And I love Oud Royale a lot, especially after I've settled down and I've put it on a few times. It is one of my favorite rose oud perfumes, and this is very close in terms of that lotiony vibe that Oud Royale gives. So you're definitely getting this here also. And this, this doesn't have rose in it. No. So whatever way the Ensar Oud brand uses the florals with the oud and the musk, gives this lotiony, creamy touch to the composition, which is fantastic. It's just gorgeous, you guys. Now, with respect to the ouds in here, now I'm gonna be very frank with you guys. I've never smelled any of these ouds neat, so I'm not too sure how they would smell, but you most certainly do get a little bit of that Asian, not Indian, but like sort of Thai, Vietnamese, Filipino sort of oud vibe in here. It's lighter, it's pleasant, it's antiseptic, but without being overpowering. It's very, I do agree that it has a slightly fruity, floral notes to it. And the funny thing is that I didn't pick the oud as a base note, I picked it more as a top note. So again, it struck me in the opening. Slightly after the musk started to settle down a bit, I started picking on the oud. So for me, the order was musk, oud, then florals. And yeah, so the oud in here is fantastic. It's just gorgeous. You don't get any barnyard, fermented, fecal notes to it at all. It's actually very soft and smooth and pleasant. It has a meditative aspect to it, and it's just stunning composition. There's also Sri Lankan sandalwood in here, which I mean, sandalwood will definitely bring this calming and creamy effect, which also enhances this lotion-like effect to the perfume. And let me take a coffee break quickly. So that's, you know, a few things from my experience. So I 100% agree with the musing. It's very accurate. And sometimes I disagree with the musings off of the site, but this one is on point in terms of just what you can expect to experience with an oud floral mix, musk sandalwood composition. Now, let's talk some stats, okay? In terms of performance, this one is very interesting. It's, I would like to say it's a skin scent, but it also has strong performance, which is the first for one of my Ensars. It has a skin scent in the sense that it does sit on your skin very well and lingers there. But it's also pretty strong, you guys, projection-wise. Once I sprayed it, and even for hours after, it was literally wafting off of my skin towards my nose. And even as I extended my arms far away, I could smell it quite a bit. So it definitely has strong projection to it. In terms of trail and sillage, that one is a bit tricky because it definitely, with me and given the nature of my skin didn't have much of a trail or a sillage, and I played with it a bit walking around my place and whatnot. So I'm gonna say trail and sillage, depending on your skin chemistry, is gonna be low to medium, which is such a weird thing because you get a very strong projection, but then a low to medium trail sillage. And this is why I said earlier, it's still for me a skin scent, but with a strong projection. So this one is a bit funny that way, so there's something to keep in mind, but by no stretch of the imagination is it a weak performer. Overall, you most certainly will smell it on you through the whole day. Yeah, it's really fantastic. Okay, in terms of seasonality, I'm gonna go ahead and say, and you know, that this is more of a spring and summer scent. Even though there's oud, there's musk, there's sandalwood in here, which do very well in cold weather, so fall and winter. The florals in here make it more warm weather leaning, so I would say prioritize this for spring and summer wear, okay? But don't shy away from wearing it for fall and winter either, just because of the other warm facets of this. But being a floral perfume, I believe this is more suited for spring and summer. In terms of time of day, I will say this is actually pretty versatile to wear across the day. You can comfortably wear it in the morning and you can comfortably wear it in the evening. The play of the florals with the musk and the oud in here, you guys, is just to die for. And it works so well regardless of time of day. My experience with it so far has been, you know, through the whole day. I haven't reached evening yet, but I can see it working very well in the evening. You know, just some of the florals in there that I typically find on my skin would shine better in the evening, like jasmine, I know for a fact is gonna come out to play, you know, once the sun sets. So this is a very versatile scent in the sense that you can wear it across the day and not have to worry about a particular time. Now, with respect to how you would dress this one, I'm gonna go ahead and say you need semi-casual, semi-formal. Going all the way casual doesn't do it, you know, any favors, but going also all the way formal is a disservice. This scent isn't necessarily playful, but it's more relaxed, easygoing, while being also refined. So you need that happy medium when it comes to how you dress it. So I'm gonna say semi-casual, semi-formal. In terms of gender, I'm gonna go ahead and say this is unisex. It's actually very well balanced. The florals in here aren't overly feminine, and also the musk and the oud in here isn't overly aggressive where it comes across as masculine. So it's a very good scent in terms of gender neutrality. So I'll go ahead and say it's unisex. Now, with respect of what kind of context you would enjoy this in, this one is a bit tricky because it's just, for me, this is new in terms of coming from the house of Ensar Oud and even as a floral of that type. I'm gonna go ahead and say this would be a perfect scent if you are running daily errands, if you're going out for a hike, if you are going out for an outdoors barbecue, if you're going out for any natural settings, this scent would be fantastic. If you're going out to a vineyard, if you are going out fruit picking, I mean, just anywhere that's nature oriented, where you're relaxing, having a good time, while also being elegant and classy, because this is very elegant and classy, you guys. This scent will just do perfectly. So with that said, do I recommend Musc Gardenia from Ensar Oud? 100% yes. Get your nose on it, get your wallet on it, cop it. If you are a bit worried about, you know, like having to pay a lot for it, honestly, like I said, I was hesitant about buying this because florals aren't really my thing, but this has completely changed my perspective on florals, and I have a newfound appreciation for well done florals, you guys. If you want to know what it's like to experience a live jasmine bush wafting towards you without the bush being there, get your nose on this, okay? Alrighty, guys, with that said, I'm gonna wrap it up here. As per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!